Hello, welcome. I'm Chris Woods. I'm Program Manager at Microsoft. I work in the mobile browser platform team, and we're based in Dublin. There's an R&D center there, which we're part of. And our team's role is to help support all the Windows Live teams, so that's Hotmail, IM, Spaces, and MSN, and to help them develop mobile versions of their sites. And what I'm going to do today, in this next 15, 20 minutes, is give you an insight into what we do at Microsoft to support mobile phones. And I also want to tell you about a new data file which we're releasing, which you guys all have access to, and hopefully that will make your life easier when you create content for mobile handsets. Now, as many of you have probably done it before, creating content for a mobile handset can be quite tricky, quite difficult. If you thought the range of browsers on the desktop today is difficult, it's an order of magnitude more difficult for mobile phones. We have everything from Sony PSPs to Nokia N95s. And in Windows Live, we try to support all of them. Our goal is to get Hotmail working on as many mobile devices as possible. It's not an easy task. It's quite difficult. So you may ask, why do we want to do this? And really, I see the mobile world as the future of the internet. I've just picked up a couple of facts and figures to help back that up. So 52% of online consumers have web-enabled mobile phones in the US. That's quite a jump. And I actually picked up a Net magazine. It's a UK web developer magazine. I picked it up in the airport on the way over. And it said that mobile web is growing at 8 times faster than the desktop. So the number of mobile users is growing 8 times faster. It's a phenomenal number. And 52% of US smartphone users use their mobile phones to access the internet at least weekly. So mobile web is growing in importance, and we need to support it. So like I said before, supporting mobile handsets is tricky. It's difficult. It's not easy. So let's just go over some of the key problems in trying to support a range of mobile handsets. Well, just for a start, the range of handsets alone is huge. There's thousands of different form factors and devices out there, many with different types of keyboard inputs, T9 versus touch. Some have QWERTY keyboards. So it's not very easy at all. And then you've got the combination of devices and browsers. So we have Windows mobile phones running Opera. We have Nokia phones running Opera Mini. We have Safari in very different forms. Safari runs on the Nokia phones and on Apple and on Android. And then, of course, you've got the common web problem, web standards versus the browser-specific behavior. Now, we always assume that browsers do the right thing and adhere to all the web standards, but we all know that's not true. And it's even worse in the mobile sphere. Often, mobile browsers are customized to a particular handset. So, for instance, we know that Access in China make a mobile browser. And when they sell that to a handset manufacturer, often that handset manufacturer will tailor the browser a little bit to make it work well on that handset. So if I've got a cool, funky, new haptic touch device, I'm going to want my browser to work really well with that. So they tailor it slightly. And the range of different capabilities of these browsers, that's how we refer to them internally, is large. So some browsers will do great audio or image format support, all the way through to CSS support. These things just change for different handsets. And of course, screen size. On a PC, you've got a set of relatively standard screen sizes you can expect to see. And on a mobile phone, it's quite different. There's quite a few different screen sizes. Anything from 96 pixels up to 640 by something. It's quite big. So that's the problem. How do we go about trying to solve that? Well, if we could detect the handset when it makes a request to us, and if we knew something about that handset, we might be able to work out what we have to do to correct it or to cope with this. Or if we knew what was wrong with a handset, we could do some adaptive rendering to render the appropriate output for that phone. So what we do is we need to identify the incoming browser. Give me the incoming browser, so that could be Pocket IE, and then I need to know the device that it's running on so I can work out what screen size it is. Does it have T9 support? So I do that. Once I know the two key things, device, browser, then I need to have an understanding of the capabilities of that device. This doesn't come in the incoming URL or HTTP request. It just isn't there. So we need some sort of database that has a range of capabilities for that browser and device combination. Once we know that, we can start to adaptively render content across devices. Now, this seems like an awful lot of work that we have to do. We've got to somehow capture the UA string as it comes in, parse it, work out what it is, fly through and work out what happens in the data, what capabilities it has, and how I can properly configure what I want to render out. Well, you know, it is a bit of a challenge, but the ASP.NET team have done a lot of work for us already. So the ASP.NET team have gone away and they created this browser file plugin, and it's a framework. And the ASP.NET framework intercepts your incoming request, gets the user agent string, and fires it through this XML-based regular expression tree. And that expression tree is contained within a .browser file. So what we do in Windows Live is we supply this .browser file to all of our Windows Live partner teams. That's Hotmail, IM, and so on. And what it does is, basically, as the request comes in, it passes a little bit at each node. It says, hey, is this a Nokia phone? Yes. Well, then it has all these capabilities that we know Nokia handsets have. And then it goes down, is it a Series 40 or a Series 60, and so on, and refines this set of capabilities. And this is what we're releasing, or what we have released on a Coplex site. We released it yesterday. And it's a device database. You're free to download it, free to use it in your projects, and it covers over 500 devices. And for each device, we have 67 of these capabilities, describing what that handset can or cannot do, or what that handset and browser combination can or cannot do. And this data is based on the same set of data we supply internally to all of our internal partners. And you guys can now go away and download it. We picked the top 500 devices, and that roughly equates to the top 500 devices that we see hitting our mobile sites right now. So it's what we see as the majority of the traffic. You guys can go away, grab this right now, and go play with it. So once you've got it, what are you going to do with it? Well, there's the URL for our Coplex site, MDBF, mobile. It's the mobile data browse file. And you can go download it from Coplex. Simply download it. There's a zip file in the releases folder of Coplex. Download that. Inside that, you'll see a mobile.browsers file. Pick it up. In your web application, in your app browser directory, you just need to create a new folder called Devices. Drop in your file. Once you've done that, you're basically done. The next incoming request that hits your website will trigger an application refresh. And in your code, your ASP.NET code for that page, you'll see you've got access to all these capabilities. So that's what it does. So you've gone away, you've downloaded your file, you've thrown it into your web application, and nothing's going to happen because you need to be able to make use of these capabilities for something to happen. So I just want to briefly show you how you can get in and get access to these capabilities. So this is just a little bit of code. And here you can see how we're accessing these capabilities. So all the capabilities are stored in a hash table in ASP.NET. And this is automatically populated for you when the request comes in. And this hash table is two strings, name-value pairs. And here we've got a site that wants to customize itself for a touch screen. So obviously, if I've got a touchscreen device, I've got a big fat finger, so I want all my links to look a little bit bigger so that when I hit it with my finger, it works, and I don't select half a page of text or whatever. So we're going to do that by switching the style sheet dynamically when the request comes in. And all we've done here is just checked. So just the important bits in this if statement, where we just check in the hash table, hey, does this device support touchscreen? And it will return a value either true or false. And we're just passing this and saying, is it true? And selecting the appropriate style sheet for that. So that's basically what there is to it. Once you've done this, you've turned it on, you can get access to all of it. I can't tell you what you need to do as a mobile publisher, mobile web publisher, to customize it for your site. There's many different ways to do it. If you're doing a photo site, you might be more interested in the capabilities which describe the image formats that that handset supports. And often you can transcode images on the fly based on this. And we have some internal code which does that. So when a request comes in, we work out, hey, this device doesn't support PNG. Let's give it a GIF or JPEG or something. And we transcode that on the fly. And here is a little sneak peek. This is the beta of Hotmail Mobile. And I've shown it running on 3 different handsets. So we've got the N95, we've got a Windows Mobile device, and obviously we've got the iPhone in the corner. And Windows Mobile today uses our data. And this is the new version of Windows Mobile, which is due to be released in the near future. It's out on a public beta right now on a select group of servers. But it's going to be widely available in the near future. And you can see the pages look effectively the same. And of course, to get these pages all to look the same, it isn't always the same content that gets thrown down to the handset. And these pages are all adaptively rendered to produce the same user experience. So if you want to go grab this, you can grab it from our portal here, the mdbf.coplex.com. Now, the data is only good if it's maintained. And we're releasing this on Coplex because we're hoping that you guys can pick it up and use it. We use it internally. It's up to you to use it. We try to make sure this data is as accurate as possible, but nobody's perfect. If we've got something wrong, a value wrong, or something wrong at all, just let us know. There's a space on Coplex where you can submit issues. We're going to read your feedback. The team in Dublin that's helped put this together are really excited. They're all itching to see what you guys make of this file. If you're going to use it in your projects, any problems that you encounter, and how we can try and help you resolve that. So you can get it from us. We're looking for you guys as developers to help contribute feedback. So if there's a device that's missing and you want some help with a new device or new capabilities, perhaps we haven't got enough range and touch and you want some more information about that. Or even if there's some errors on our data. We're going to publish regular updates to Coplex, and you'll see us changing this file. We update internally for our internal partners anyway, so we'll be publishing those updates out on Coplex. And this is a free download for ASP.NET. So the file is released under the MSPL license, so you can go away and download that now. Now, we're not the only providers of this data. There are commercial alternatives out there. And .mobi have a device atlas solution which plugs into ASP.NET as well. Effectively, we're providing the same basic solution, provide the developer with the capabilities, and that site developer is the expert on what he wants to render for that phone. Be it great sounding audio clips, or you're going to transcode video perhaps, and you need to know what video formats that device supports. So on our Coplex site, you'll see a list of maybe of the 67 capabilities and a description of what each capability means and how you can get access to it, the key name for that. And we actually gave a copy of our data to Scott Hanselman this week, just before the conference. And he told me, he could be lying, I hope he isn't, but he told me he was able to tweak his Nerd Dinner website within 3 hours and produce a mobile-enabled version that adaptively renders for different handsets. And I've tried it on my phone, my N95, it works well. I've seen it running on an iPhone. And Scott's giving a talk after this. He's got another 20-minute session where he's going to show you basically how he did that. So if you're interested, I'd encourage you to go along. So, and that's the end of my 15 minutes. It went by rather quick. So does anybody have any questions? Yes?
Yeah, quick question. Do you track the network operator and the device? Because in my experience, different operators will tweak the device. So therefore, if you're just checking the
Yes, that's right. So the question was, do we track what the network operators do in there? Some of them transcode on the way. So I'll give you a background of where we've put together, where we got the data for the data set. So we take contributions from WRFL, from UA profile. Internally, what we do is we monitor the user agents that come into us, and we monitor the UA profile strings that get put through in the HTTP headers. And we analyze this data, and we work out what's the most popular devices and popular UA profiles, and pick the appropriate one, and we refresh our data on a regular basis. On top of that, we get contributions directly from network operators. So they test devices themselves, and we've got one support PM who's very friendly with Vodafone and bugs me constantly with updates from Vodafone saying it doesn't quite work, you've got to tweak this, there's a new device coming out, we need to add support for it. So we get a lot of feedback from network operators. We get information from Vodafone and Orange, Verizon and AT&T. So all the major operators get in touch with us and tell us when they're launching a new device. So we have a bit of heads up on that. Our XML tree, when you download it, you should see some information in there on how to, inside that XML tree, you're going to see names for some of the key transcoders. And we do detect some of those, and we'll give appropriate values based on what they use. So we normally try and switch, because they change the UA string to be the transcoder, and then with that, there's also the original UA string for the handset. It's still in the header, they just move it, and we try to pick out the appropriate one. So it should be in there. If you've got any questions, though, there's a discussion forum on Coplex. So if you pick it up, don't see it, stick a question up there, and the team back in Dublin will be hot on your heels to answer your questions. Anything else? Great. Thank you.